looks like on the list that you sent me, most of it is township. I see North Lima Road and Main Street would be probably the only village ones I saw there.
That's the abbreviated list. So the list is pretty expansive, so I just gave a brief abbreviated list. There are some areas around the square, around the village, so there are some other streets that will be affected. But you're right, Dobbin Circuit is heavily out for the township.
Can I ask who you contracted?
That I don't have the name, so
I'm just curious, people going around saying they're for a while, this kind of
that door knocker had our contact information on it. Okay, so if you're ready to receive a call, and they'll say they're working on behalf of Ohio Edison. If another contractor comes up and say, hey, we're here to trim trees, and they can't give a name of an Ohio Edison manager that they're working with, then they should definitely call the mayor and call me.
I know there's a lot of people around town that are more concerned about this, especially regarding the look of the street trees after trimming is done. I know a lot of times you see where there's wires and there's tree trimming, and all of a sudden you see this big T cutting out around the wires, and it does not look very good. Or there's topping. Could you kind of go over the precautions you make so that you don't affect the beauty of our street trees?
Honestly, that is a recognized standard cut. We have been given awards and for our tree trimming activity. We work with arborists on that, so I can't tell you that, hey, we're not going to cut in that fashion. That is a recognized practice. So while most people complain that why can't it be sculpted, the idea is not really to sculpt the tree, but really clear it out to prevent it from growing into the wires.
Well, gentlemen, I just wanted to here's our new street tree commissioner.
Okay.
Hello.
Great.
He works for Milwaukee Metro Parks. He's very experienced in so we'll work with him too, and work as best we can.
Can a citizen prohibit you from doing it?
No.
No?
No. I don't want to say that. A citizen can't ask us to leave their property, and we will do so. It's their property, but we do have a right to do the trimming and the clearing out. We will contact local authorities and then come back. So I don't want to make it sound like, hey, we're going to fight a resident or one of our customers. But we will actually leave. If we're asked to leave, we'll leave. We're not here to cause a disturbance with the citizens, but we will contact the local authorities.
I know in the past that I have been approached by citizens where the job was beyond hideous. And will you come back and address things that the citizen just does not care for?
Yes. So if a citizen, we've had instances where citizens said, hey, if they're going to do this, I'd rather have them remove the tree. And that's fine. Okay. Our goal really is to work with our communities, but at the same time, this practice does increase reliability to our residents and our customers. So conversely, if a circuit isn't trimmed and that reliability falls off, we can trace it right back to that vegetation issue.
Question, if they don't want their tree trimmed like Mark said, but they just want it taken down, then do you take them down then?
We can.
Do you charge the resident?
No. If it's in our cycle of trimming, and that's happened. We've had trees that are dead that we're going to trim back, and I said, well, you just remove the tree.
I just make sure that the citizens know before they would do such a thing that we have provisions in our ordinance about trimming trees and about taking trees down. That I know First Energy and like Aqua Ohio are probably not excluded from, but they have more of a right to do that because of the utilities issue. I know your counsel very well, Sean Delic.
Yes.
Who is my boss's husband.
Oh, okay.
So I know that they've won some cases recently where they're allowed to go in and take trees down, they're allowed to trim because of the utility issue for the surrounding residents. I just want to make sure that our citizens know if they want to take that extra step, not only trimming a tree, but also taking it down, that they make sure they contact us. And our tree person can go out and make sure that it's able to be taken down, that they follow our procedure as well.
Well, that would be the first thing. should contact the village, you're correct.
Did you have any questions? Surgeon?
Maybe the council, I had a call from Asplin, who's coming, trimming some of the trees in the town. He asked my recommendation on whether they should just top the tree or remove it. And he gave me the location of the trees, and I've yet to make it out there to check out the area. But am I allowed to, where do I stand as far as telling Asplin?
He has the authority to determine if a tree should be taken down, if it poses a threat to safety of citizens, and if you deem that tree is a dangerous tree, then you can authorize it to be taken down.
Okay.
You have that power. I'll give you the ordinance before you go tonight there.
I have a copy, and I did look through there, but as far as more aesthetics than anything, he said they'd have to top it, which is a bad practice and against ordinance. But he said it's just going to be a continuing problem where it's going to have to keep coming in and topping it. So my recommendation would probably be, without seeing the tree, it's probably going to be to remove it and plant something small.
Yeah, I'll find it tonight. I'll cover it with you to make sure. And I believe you can go out and allow the tree to be cut down. And then work in conjunction with our utilities folks. If they have a situation, they want to trim a tree, and we have a resident that wants it taken down, as long as they contact you and you authorize it, then they're authorized to do the same.
And there's a link I sent you in the email, Mayor, where it talks about the different species that you can actually plant. A lot of times people will say, well, I really want this type of species. And some species just grow very aggressively. And there are other species we can say you can plant this, and it's not going to grow, it's not going to encroach onto our infrastructure. And we highly advise our residents, customers to do those sorts of things. So because ideally, we know that people want to beautify their property, the community, but at the same time, electrical liability is something we all want as well. So we can't say, hey, here are other species that you can actually buy and plant, and they'll get very little growth, and it won't be aggressive, so we don't have those issues of having them removed.
Okay. What's the distance from the tree to the power?
It depends upon the type. Sometimes it's as great as 12 feet. It depends upon where it is.
Just 12 feet from the line?
Yeah. Any other questions? If you have my card, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. I'm right on South Avenue in Youngstown. We have a forestry person there as well. We're more than happy to come out and work with you guys if there's any issues.
Thanks for coming, I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Mayor, thank you. Thanks for the
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Mr. Donovan, resolution to implement fees for usage of village facilities.
Actually, it's not going to be a resolution, it'll just be a motion to adopt. If everybody could grab their handout, this is the form that we are using to rent facilities. And there's an asterisk where there's changes that have been made. You'll see it on page 1. It's asking if you're a Fulton Village resident, whether it's a nonprofit organization, and whether or not it's a commercial use. And the fees are described down below. Usage fees for Fulton Village grounds and or buildings are as follows. $100 per day for non-resident applicants, plus $50 refundable security deposit, and a $50 per day Fulton Village resident organization applicants, plus $50 refundable security deposit. Fees will be waived for Fulton Village-based nonprofits, non-commercial applicants, and the definition of commercial uses are as follows. Money is charged for admission. Or vendors are involved with the activity, they are charged a fee for participation and/or are participating for profit. Fees are payable upon review and approval of use by the chairman of the Buildings, Land, Utilities, Parks, and Recreation Committee. Facilities may not be used without all fees paid prior to the events. The chairman of Blooper will also determine if security deposits will be refunded based on the condition of the buildings/grounds after the event, and additional charges for police coverage may apply. and that is on page 2, you see the asterisk. The requirement to provide uniformed police to handle traffic flow on Portland in and out of parking areas, and minimum police time of whatever hours are going to be used at. And at this time, it's $20 per hour. And our rule of thumb is basically going to be if the event is going to have more than 50 people in attendance, will require a police coverage. Okay, and that was agreed upon by Luke at our last meeting, and make a motion to adopt that.
How does this affect the fresh market?
The farmer's market? Well, they're nonprofit, but it's also commercial based on those definitions.
So all vendors are going to have to each pay $100?
No, just the streetscapes is in the past. That's if they decide to use this property. I'm not sure they even are. But in the event something like that happens, whoever is sponsoring it would have to pay the fee, a single fee. It would not be $50 for each vendor. It would be just $50 for the property, a one-time fee, and a security deposit. Okay.
All right, Joe brought this up. Jenny Phillips is here to address council regarding the house at 24 Pullen Manor.
Yep, it's right across the street from me.
Yep.
Want some pictures. I'm sure there's a painting ordinance. The last time I was here.
Jenny, could you tell Jeff your address?
Oh, 27 Pullen Manor.
Jenny Phillips.
Jenny Phillips.
Thank you.
And this is a different house. We'll talk about the other one.
Yeah,
Oh, this is a whole different
This is what I look at. Yeah.
This is,
Oh, she's got sing. Yeah, Dr. Merce also down there.
Same side of the street, right
right
across the street.
across the street.
So it's been like that for about 5 years. Of course, it's been getting bad for 15 years. And I want to know what, there is an ordinance, right, for painting?
Yes, if I may, I'm David Respond, I'm the zoning administrator. It's actually 1460.02, exterior walls and surfaces, and that it clearly states that exterior walls and court condition. So that's absolutely correct.
Where's the picture go?
She's making comments.
Oh, of course. Okay, so it needs painted. You'll see the pictures. How long does he have? I mean, how does it go? How's it work?
Here's what can happen. I can write this right now. Okay, this is a violation notice.
Okay.
Literally, and put it on their door tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. From that time, first thing is that it has to be reasonable amount of time. That being said, we're dealing with negative temperatures. So,
Oh, right. What's reasonable? 6 months? Did you say by August?
Unfortunately, I'd have to defer to our solicitor on that to say what's reasonable.
You know, this is not less than 10 days. So this is not less than 10, which, obviously cannot be done now. Then I think you'd use that time frame to base what is reasonable. And I would say, and this is tough because, when you're dealing with words like reasonable time, like we're all saying, we can't figure out. We probably go down and have 8 different opinions about what reasonable is. I would say that 60 would certainly be more than reasonable. And I think that by sending a notice sooner than later, you start that clock running so they have time to make these arrangements by the time that spring comes around and they can start painting. So,
It's going to be a difficult. I know him.
Okay.
And it's going to be, so do you want to say, like, I'll come back in May? Or, no, I'll come back in July.
Here's the other part of it, though, that they can object to the designation that it is in need of repair. And if so, then it goes to the zoning administrator and another official, I don't know who that might be, designated by the mayor to consider the objection. But there's no time frame for that. And you can extend the time for compliance. So, I'm also looking at the penalty. It's an unclassified misdemeanor. No, it's a minor misdemeanor. So there's no possibility of any jail time for this offense. it's a fine at most of $100 per offense. The good part about it, the teeth of it is, every day that the violation occurs is deemed to be a separate offense.
Sure.
So we'll have to weed through this as we go, but I would say, and you did talk to me about this prior to the meeting tonight.
And mind you, it's a 4,000, 5,000 square foot home, 2 lots. It's big. There's a lot of paint off of there.
Yeah.
It's not a little shed.
Yeah, I would say what we can do is structure a letter that has 2 different time frames. One is that they will let us know what they will be doing, what they choose to do, and then 2, the days upon which they will start the process. And then the third one would be the anticipated completion date. So I would say you go 30, 60, 90. Within 30, let us know what they intend to do, side it, paint it, whatever. Within 60 to commence the repairs, and within 90 to complete. So we're March, April, May.
The end of it.
Yeah, I would say even give them another, so within 120.
It's not, honestly, that's probably not enough. And here's why. And I don't have any special tie to this person. That home is very large. It is very old. I'm pretty sure it's built in the 20s, I'm guessing, but it's very old. It's going to end up being a lead paint job. There's no doubt about that. That's a big project. I don't think that 90 days is enough to have it completed.
Then let's go with 120 or 150.
Now, I think that's more realistic.
Well, I'll say by next October when it's cold again.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I would.
Well, I'm trying to be patient because I'm getting mad.
But we can always extend the time in the statute or in the ordinance. We can always extend it. We'll work on it together. We'll start putting a letter together.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, how's Pete?
Well, like I said, I could write something, one of these quick violation notices tonight. That is not a letter, it's not fully descriptive of what we're talking about now. So if you'd like to have that fully descriptive letter, I'm actually posing this to Anthony, it's not going to happen tonight.
Right.
Okay, how can I get an update on the Barnheiser house
On the
that
Barnheiser house.
I've been coming for a couple of years?
What is going on with that?
Mind you, it's almost up to 4 years now. This was spring of 2010.
I know we did. Okay. David is working with the the Struthers law director. And we have given, Don Williams, we've given him the ordinance section that classifies what kind of, it's an abatement issue, that's how we've categorized it. Dave has collected evidence, presented it to Attorney Williams. He and I have spoken, and I believe that they are preparing the charges.
Yeah, what we had talked about, once again, the reasonable amount of time, at that point is falling right now at the beginning of March. That would have been 30 days. So it's time to move that to the next step.
His notice was already sent.
Yeah, notice is already sent, so next step.
Like
is-
certified mail, you know, he got.
That's already happened.
Okay, great.
So now we're looking at charges. That's the next step.
Has he responded in any way?
He signed for it. He signed for the certified mail, which would have been 30 days ago. But, I don't think that the nuisance has been abated, not to my knowledge.
I understand there was a truck behind there doing something at the bottom.
They got rid of the pile of concrete.
Okay.
They had a dumpster there.
Yeah.
Was that recently?
Yes,
The day after.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What's
The
it?
day after our last council meeting.
But my goodness, at this rate.
Well, and to fill you in, I don't know if you've been to many of the meetings where we've talked about this issue, but the understanding about most homeowners is that they want to get into their home and fix it up. So when the council gave him his first building permit, it had a time frame in it that he's to be done by. When he didn't get it done by that time, then they were in a predicament of, well, if you don't grant him another permit, then he can't do the work.
Right.
And those kind of stuff. So we kept granting permits with the good faith understanding he would
Right.
comply. The last time the permit expired, we decided he came back and tried to get another permit. We held the money for the permit and said, we're going to hold it. That will be money you can use to fix up your property. And if you do that, then we'll consider giving you another permit. We took away the argument he would make that he could not work on it because it would be in violation of the permit by saying, no, you're complying with the ordinance. You're abating the property like we want you to. You don't need a permit to do that. So if you show us that you're going to do that, you're going to clean up the property and abate the nuisance, then we'll consider giving you another permit. So it's a very...
But that was last fall, right?
No, that...
October?
That was a month ago.
30
He
days
came back and tried to apply for his last permit, or 2 months ago, maybe now.
Okay, because his old permit was up September 21st.
We granted another one,
Oh, you did?
right, to try to get, because again, he's telling us he's going to do something.
No,
We did?
no, we did not grant him the latest zoning permit. So that was held. He gave us a check for $2,000.
I thought it was...
We did not cash it. Instead, we sent him a notice to abate, $660 something.
And your argument was, if we had used that money,
Yes.
Sure, go ahead, yeah.
if you said you didn't have any money, well...
Yeah.
You said you were gonna do it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm running on the time frame. It happened yesterday, that it happened, but it was September now.
That's
We've
why
been
I'm
going back-
bringing pictures.
Yeah.
It's not yesterday.
But it was the last time he applied for the permit,
Okay.
the council
That
said,
was last
no,
fall.
we kept this check, and we said, no, we're not going to cash it, take the money, do something with it. And that's when we then went and proceeded to send him the notice pursuant to the abatement statute.
So the next step is charges, period, right?
Well, yes and no. The next step might be charges. If he goes and does what he's supposed to do, and he abates the property, the nuisance, then there would be no need for charges. He would have complied. If he does not abate the property, then you do have to go and charge him.
Do you have a guess when, if it's not in my mind, so I'm not going crazy, by June 1st, if he's not done something, you're going to press
I think
charges?
sooner than that. I think the weather has affected the time period for abating the nuisance. Now that weather, starting to break, I would say, and Attorney Leone has in his own mind what the time frame would be, but I would say within a good 30 days or 45 days after the weather is permissible of work, and the fact that he started to do something is encouraging, I would anticipate movement if there's going to be movement. If not, then he's going to get charged.
Okay, so I understand you say after 30 days after the weather breaks, we should see something
Yes.
happening. If not, charges should be filed.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you very much.
All right, anyone else have anything, Mr. Caucus?
We can talk about budget unless somebody else has something else to discuss, because that's going to take a few minutes.
We have 3 minutes.
Talk fast.
I don't know if we can talk that fast. You have a draft copy that Nick has passed out to everyone. And we are not asking you to pass this tonight. We are asking that you look at it. Finance is asking that you review it. Give us your input if there's a problem that you see. We try to take everything into consideration, and I'll review that list with you under the Finance Committee report, since we're probably not going to make it here. And be prepared to pass this at the next meeting. This will be our last meeting that we can get this done before the deadline. Is everyone going to be in attendance at that meeting that they know of? We're going to need a quorum
Next
to
meeting.
pass the budget. Right. Anybody going to be gone, I guess, is the question. Okay. Just to, as a reminder that if we don't get it passed at that meeting, we'll be calling special meetings until we get it passed. We've got to have it to the Budget Commission by April 1st. And we can review items under Finance Committee report. We're going to run out of time here.
Linda, at the last meeting, did you say it has to be passed by the 18th?
Meaning that that's the last meeting.
So the deadline is actually the end of the month, right?
Right.
Okay.
As long as we get it to them by April 1st.
So that's fine.
So that's, we
So
want to
then
cut it
it's
to...
an emergency on the 18th.
Right. Which is a common thing for us. I don't think we have ever passed a budget with 3 readings. We always end up passing as emergency. We did have a second budget committee meeting last night. So I think, finance is in agreement with everything that we've done here, and we'll review it under the finance committee. How much time did you say we have left?
1 minute.
No, okay. We'll wait till quite a bit. I can't talk that fast. I could talk pretty fast, but not that fast.
Who Steve knows on the left side?
Hey, that's just the way the button was pushed.
All right, it's 7:30. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call of members.
Mr. Set.
Here.
Mr. Donovan. Here. Attorney Limmer. Here. Mr. Major.
Here.
Mrs. Cerny.
Here.
Mrs. Yes.
Here.
Present.
All right, acceptance of the minutes from the previous council meeting.
Make a motion to waive the reading and accept as written.
Does anybody have one?
No, that's finance.
Proceedings.
That's the finance committee meeting. Okay, yeah, I picked them up last week.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, notifications of meetings and events to the public and news media. Blooper.
On the 18th, before the next council meeting at 6:30.
Finance.
None.
Legislation.
Nothing scheduled.
Police.
We met this evening. Next meeting will be next month.
Streets.
It's 7 o'clock before our next council meeting. 6:30. 6:30, excuse me.
Okay, boards. ARB.
It's, as always, first Thursday of the month, 7 p.m. Village Hall. That being said, we do not currently have an agenda.
Planning.
Planning will be the 19th, March 19th at 7 o'clock. Also, I believe, Dave, Historic Preservation, is that this week?
This Thursday, 7 o'clock.
This Thursday.
Okay.
But I have.
Okay.
Board of Zoning Appeals.
Nothing scheduled.
Western Reserve Fire District.
Western Reserve Fire District will meet on Wednesday, March 12th at 7:30 p.m. at the Poland Township Building.
Okay, Forest Board.
Next meeting is March 26th.
And High Memorial.
We scheduled one, didn't we?
Regularly scheduled meeting was, we had a special meeting. I think we were supposed to meet on the 19th.
That's what I remember.
19th?
Yeah. Okay. 19th at 3 o'clock. Right?
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
All right. Report from Mayor. Actually, have a written report this month. I'm going to pass these around. I had talked, last meeting, we talked about some grants, so I talked to Gary, and he made a little sheet out for everybody. It tells all the grants that are available, what they are, when they're due. So if you guys want, I'll take one of these and pass those around. He's brought those today. I didn't even look at these yet. But it's 6 or 7 pages of information here. He said he had also been talking with Joe about looking at some red light replacement grants possibly. He said he thought about 18 years ago when they did the red lights last. I know Russ always has problems with the red lights replacing them. So
I'll walk home.
that's something we might want to look at also. I got, and I think Paula might have sent this out to everyone, a letter from Mark Burns from Independent Energy Consultants about the rising gas rates. Did anyone get those? That letter? It was an email, basically. Basically nothing we need to do on our part, but telling us of how this winter has really decimated the gas market, and the rates are $5.75 to $6 per MCF right now. Some of the variable rates are approaching $8 per month. He said that because of so much demand, we have set records for low temperatures, ice, it's stood for 20 years. They've sort of hit into the inventories that they've had, depleted to at least 3 trillion cubic feet of but he thinks that the normal summertime, we should get back to those levels by November, and he thinks they'll probably be back in the $4 range instead of the $6 range they're right now. So just, giving an update of what's going on, we're all aware of it. The gas usage this year has been a lot higher than previous years. The mayor's court report from February has been done, February 2014. David was here about the tree trimming. I did send an email to Bo Weaver spelling out exactly what we need for that electric stuff. And I don't know when their next meeting is, but hopefully we'll get that done. And then I get a quarterly report from Independent Energy Consultants every 3 months, obviously. And this is sort of an annual report. This is sort of a nice summation of what we've done here with the natural gas and electric aggregation since we started this. The gas started in January of 2010. At that point, we had 260 residential customers, 9 commercial customers. And as of December of 13, that 260 went to 682, and the commercials at 33, and we have usage went from 5214 to 12912. As far as savings are concerned, when it first started in January of 2010, we saved $158 for the whole community. As of 2013, in December, we've saved $183,551 on gas rates. And as far as electric is concerned, that started in March 2010 instead of January. And if you remember, we got a check from them when we first signed up, so we got some money from that. But at the end of this year, we saved $202,425 off their base rates. So adding those together, it's almost $400,000 plus the check that we got from them too. So I think that's hopefully worked out well for our customers. Yeah, you can have it if you want. And I believe that's all.
Make a motion to accept the mayor's report.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, report from fiscal officer.
Okay, I'm circulating around the list of bills, and we received our first and second real estate advances. In those, the general fund got $39,000, the police levy fund was up $8,000. So we should be getting probably 3 or 4 more advances. And that's it. And the report.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Anything from the deputy clerk?
Just that I will not be there next time.
We jump on the weather alerts.
We try.
Yes.
Keep them under
Well,
here.
Dave. Go to Anthony first, come back to Dave. Report from the solicitor.
All right, got a couple letters this week. One was from Manchester Bennett. That is the firm that represents the folks on Riverside. And even though they were still expressly denying that they were liable for the tree being taken down, the folks on the bank building have been in contact with Aqua, and they're going to pay for the tree being taken down. So that they've been given a bill, and I'm hopeful that we get paid for that soon. On the other property, there was a survey done. I don't understand the results of it. I'm going to send it to Attorney Leone, have him take a look at it, and then I'll know. So we should get paid on one of the trees. On the other one, I'm still not sure. And that's it.
Motion to accept the solicitor's report.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Report from zoning administrator.
Excuse me. I haven't taken any specific action since our last meeting. That being said, our 30-day time limit is expiring as we speak for Mr. Barnheiser at 12 Pullen Manor. So at this point, it looks like we will be moving on. I mean, obviously, we want to be reasonable, but we'll be taking the next step. Last week, I had a scheduled pre-trial for the Yellow Creek Theater Pavilion. There was an extension filed. That is coming up again for this Friday, March 7th. So once again, I have another pre-trial March 7th for that problem. Other than that, that's been it. So I haven't taken any.
Is Isla Klein represented by an attorney?
He is. At the first pretrial, he was represented by an attorney with the last name Zuzolo. If I'm not mistaken, their office is in the plaza.
They're usually bankruptcy lawyers. I don't know what that means.
He had somebody different here.
He did it, Alan Shevlin,
Yeah.
for a time.
Motion to accept the zoning administrator's report.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything from the tree commissioner?
Nothing at this time.
Okay.
I've been working with the urban regional forester, Lola Lewis, taking steps towards Tree City USA certification. And so really nothing to report right now, but we are taking steps towards getting Poland into that network.
All right, report from Chief of Police and Street Commissioner.
Russ, are we allowed to know who this donor is to the village, or would he rather remain anonymous?
Mark Thompson,
Oh, very nice.
good guy.
I talked to Gary today, and he gave me a big sheet of all the grants that are available when they are, and he had talked about signals in the village, maybe looking at that, changing the LEDs and getting new controllers and everything else.
I can't get controllers, I don't think, but I can get signals and all the lights from ODOT.
That's on your report. Think about that, something to do around there. He was talking to Joe about
We
it.
definitely have controller issues,
Yeah.
off and on.
Motion to accept the police and street report.
Second?
All in favor? Any opposed? Report from engineer.
You did your report.
Yeah, not really. Report from outstanding committees of council, finance, wage, audit, and insurance.
Okay. Budget. You have an extra sheet here that Nick passed out to you, I believe. You're seeing that he's got an estimated number for receipts here that he removed the estate tax, the 51,234. Hopefully we'll get some that will still dribble in. We know that number is going to go away completely soon. So he's using that estimated receipt number of $648,621, and this budget is going to be $753,173 for general fund. So we are starting the year with a deficit budget. We know right off the bat that a truck is going to have to be replaced. That's $65,000 out of that amount, which is going to come from STAR. We had considered the possibility of just repairing this truck, but it's going to need a lot of repairs, and they're going to be costly repairs. So it's really throwing money away in finance's opinion, and the truck is eventually going to have to be repaired, replaced. So why not just replace it now and not waste the money on repairs? So we did build $65,000 into the general fund budget. You're going to see that under street repairs, $1,623.93, $65,000 for motor vehicles. Okay, I'm going to run through these changes, and I think it will cover probably all of your questions, but if you have questions, we can go over all those things. So, one of the reasons this budget is so ugly is we have so many unanticipated issues, one of them being the hospitalization, as we all know. Right off the bat, we're starting with an $8,000 increase. That does not count December. December, we know we're going to have something new in place, which we have no idea yet exactly what that's going to entail. So from now through November, we're talking about an $8,000 increase on this budget. This is the year for state audit, so we plugged in $16,000 for state audit, which is approximately what that usually comes to. The copier and the Christmas lights are pretty well going to be absorbed into this budget, replacing things that we spent last year on electric. There were some other issues, I can't remember.
The $600
The marker,
The marker.
the historic marker? Okay. So those two items that we know we had to do the copier, there was just no choice about that. The Christmas lights, it's going to be kind of, we take a turn on giving another organization that does a big thing for the village by supplying the $2,000. The historic marker, and Dave and I had a discussion before he left, and because the High Fund has agreed to do the historic marker, they did not have a need for additional money this year, which was really a relief because the budget is uglier than we ever anticipated. And so we do still need High Fund to pass that motion authorizing the expenditure of the historic marker. Okay. At your next meeting. It's plugged into the budget. Okay, so at your next meeting. Zoning, that had actually, we always used to plug in a supply line item for zoning, and I guess last year you did not because there was nothing. Dick wasn't using any money. And so this year, we are going to plug it back in for Dave because he has several things, items that he is, incurring costs and it shouldn't be coming out of his pocket. So we did plug in for $500 for zoning supplies and things that he's going to need. Law Enforcement Trust Fund, Russ has asked to purchase 2 more scales at approximately $1,500 a piece. And that law enforcement fund is well able to handle that. That is a money-making thing for the village as well. I don't see it as a negative money-making thing because, honestly, we get no tipping fees like the township does. The trucks come through and they destroy our roads, and we get no repayment for it. So if they're going to disobey the laws and be overweight, we should fine them. So the scales will bring in revenue, hopefully. As far as road repairs, we know that we're probably going to need materials for, probably additional materials this year with the kind of winter that we've had. And that obviously is going to have to come from general fund because there's no place else for it to come from. Street fund is definitely ending the year with less money than they ever did. And, there's just no way to fix that because we always have to supplement from the general fund to help streets. Last year you got by without doing it. It's not going to happen again probably. Maybe this year. We might be able to squeak by this year. But by the way, we're going to end this year, if everything goes similar to last year, we have about $13,000 left at the end of this year for that fund. So now we're looking at large supplementing in 2015. So we're going to have to be thinking about how we're going to resolve this matter. Because we had to do the big expenditure for the truck, we decided to scrap the paving project for this year. Because we did not anticipate having to spend $65,000 on a truck. So, Joe, I know you were interested in doing the paving project. We all were. But it looks like this year we may have to put that on hold. Since we're starting with such a large deficit as it is. We did allow in this budget for a small increase for the street commissioner of $1,800 for the year, $150 a month for street commissioner out of the general fund. Okay? He's been doing that job for 24 years without ever having an increase. He makes $4,800 for that job. He doesn't just administer it. He helps fix the vehicles. He helps diagnose what's wrong with them. He spends a lot of time actually helping to work on items for that administrative position, which means that he has to stay overtime and put in extra hours for police to hit his hours there. So I think everybody seemed to be in agreement about giving him a raise for the street commissioner job.
Plus he was given the additional responsibility of the village green.
Correct. And so we are asking the High Fund to make a motion in their meeting to give him $150 a month for that. And hopefully that passes, because obviously...
That has.
Oh, you've already done that?
Yeah, that was done.
You made a motion and it's documented?
We didn't make a motion. We passed it at the meeting.
Yeah.
So we had to make a motion here.
Approved.
You want a motion here?
$150. No, the Hine Fund Committee
Made a motion.
approved, made the motion, and approved
Right.
the $150.
Okay, then what we will do, coming out of Finance and Wage, is put together an ordinance, a wage ordinance, and that will come to the table to officially pass so that we're covered for audit, that we're paying it correctly. Okay? And then there's another small increase that we decided that we would like to give the solicitor, and unfortunately, we wish that we could make this much larger. I think it's more just to show our gratitude. It's a 5% raise, which of course on such a small salary does not turn out to be very much money.
I appreciate the thought.
I was not
But,
aware of that.
Officer, I was going to say the mayor has no idea about this.
Yes,
I appreciate the thought, and it's very, very, very high gratitude.
But we really appreciate everything that you do for us, because you work very hard and we're always bombarding you with
Not at
things.
all.
We know you're trying to keep the village out of trouble, keep us out of trouble.
Thank you.
So we appreciate that.
That's very kind.
So then, the other bomb is this. Russ asked us about putting on some extra shifts for the police, an extra car. And we're all aware that, unfortunately, criminal activity is up. The heroin problem has caused major issues for every community. For the very first time, we've had an armed robbery in the center of the village. We feel that it is warranted, and even though it's going to put a strain on this budget, we really feel that the safety of this town comes number one, and so Finance is recommending that we give him the 5 extra shifts to have an extra car out there. It's going to cost us almost $34,000 to do this, but we're doing it as economically as we can by using part-time officers. So there won't be benefits paid along with that. And we feel that this needs to be done. So we hope that you agree with us on that. Obviously, it is going to be the biggest part of this, along with the truck. And maybe we'll get surprised and we'll get a little bit better revenue than what we're anticipating here. We cannot count on anything as far as permissive tax or anything like that we have talked about so far, because we didn't hit the timeline on this. Which takes me to the next part of this, which is, there is a timeline for finance here that we're working on. We've talked about several other issues, and I just want you to know how this is going to fall into place, because we have to do it by priority. So we're starting with budget, of course, which has to be to the Budget Commission by April the 1st. We'll have insurance renewal. We're going to have them do our usual broker. Weichert will broker for us on the best cost on that, and that will be due in May. The permissive tax must be filed with the state by July the 1st, so we'll be working on that, what needs to be done to get that on. And hopefully, if I understand that correctly, we would collect that money in 2015. Okay, but we'll check all that out. Then we have our major renewal on our 3.2 mil levy. That is the largest amount of money that comes into this village. It's what keeps us going. That renewal needs to be filed by August the 6th. Okay, so we'll probably start that process around May, get the certification from the county first on the exact amount of money that we can anticipate from that 3.2, and then do the 3 readings for our residents. And then, as of 12/1, we're going to have our new hospitalization plan in place. So we'll be having several meetings for that, trying to figure out exactly what we can do to possibly save some money on hospitalization. So we have a pretty big agenda of things to do for finance for the course of the year, and we're getting a good start. Budget is done. We hope that you'll approve this budget at next meeting. If you have questions or concerns, please call me, call someone from finance. Let us know, what you like or don't like, and we don't have a lot of time. We have 2 weeks to get it taken care of and then to get it passed. So hopefully there aren't a lot of disagreements about this. And then also there's a copy here of my letter to Senator Schiavone, to everyone that you got, and the minutes from the first Finance Committee meeting, and then yesterday we had an additional Finance Committee meeting, and I will make minutes for you on that. That's all I have. Does anybody have any questions or anything that you want to talk about in this budget? Something you think we missed or did not address?
Did a good job.
Motion to accept Linda's report.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Legislation and policy. Police and fire.
Wait, excuse me. On legislation, Frank Kukowski would like to have us have a meeting, a legislative meeting, because there's a lot of rules and regulations in our ordinance that are false. And he gave us an overview several months ago, and he requested that we have a meeting about bicycle rules.
Okay.
Let's
Have him call me, we'll set one up.
Pardon?
We'll set one up, have him call me. I'll set up a meeting.
Yeah.
Well, have him call me and I'll set up a meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
Very good.
Good, thank you.
All right, police and fire.
Nothing.
Street, sidewalks, and drainage. And Blueprint.
Nothing.
Reports from boards. Planning Commission.
Yeah, Planning Commission met, and there were representatives from 4M Company to talk about a revision to the project on Riverside and 224. We went from a condo type of 16-unit condo down to 2 duplexes, and they will be asking for the property to be replatted into 2 lots. Planning Commission could not see anything that did not comply with the existing zoning codes. Everything pretty much falls right into all the rules and regulations as it is right now. But this was just a preliminary meeting to let the Planning Commission know what's going on. There were some residents that came to speak in opposition to the project, or pretty much any project on that property. So it was a learning opportunity for everybody, the neighbors and the Planning Commission. Then the Historic Preservation Committee presented a report on their progress on the historic preservation legislation, and they've come quite a long way. They're about halfway through probably with that legislation. End of report.
Motion to accept?
Second.
All in favor?
So it stays residential level, that's a residential, no zoning is required.
Right, yeah. The duplexes are allowed in R1.
Going to replat into 2 lots.
Yeah, it'll be replatted.
Board of Zoning Appeals.
Nothing to report.
ARB.
And nothing to report.
Forest Board.
Nothing.
Hyde Memorial.
Nothing.
And Western Reserve Fire District. Okay, reports from special committees. Communications from residents. Tell us who you are, where you live, please.
Jim Dixie, Johnson Place, 362. I'd like to ask the council about bidding out the trash collection. I have Waste Management, I just got my bill, it was $100 for 3 months. Liberty pays, they have Allied Waste, and they pay $15.43 plus $2 extra for bags a month. And as of December of last year, Youngstown pays $15.75 a month. And instead of having 5, I think there's at least 5 trucks go up my road on Johnson Place during the day. You could have 1 probably for the whole village. You get it done in 1 day instead of having trucks 4 days a week going up, because they come from Tuesday on.
Yeah.
And you could save money that way.
I've thought about that, I never pursued that, I think that's a good idea for my state.
Because you figure the weight of the trucks, and if you're not gonna be blacktopping any roads, there's a lot of extra stuff there.
What committee would do that? Yeah, that's a
I
good
think
idea.
street sidewalks.
Yeah, streets. Okay.
Just to see just to see what's what, because of,
I find if you call the other companies, because mine's been going up, and I called to cancel it, and I said I had another one, and then they reduced their...
yeah, they would reduce it, but they're still going, it's still gonna go up. In December of 12, it was $88.
They'll keep raising it.
And it's $100 for, I got this, unless I got it the third or the second of this month, and it was $100 and change. Whereas, Liberty did this in July of '08. So I don't know if they're still, she found that on the...
Who's the...
Allied Waste in Liberty.
Is that coming out of their taxes or they? Because I know Gerard doesn't pay any waste management. It comes out.
I don't know, she didn't put it on the article.
In Youngstown, it comes directly out of property taxes.
Yeah, I know Gerard's like that too. I don't know if those other municipalities are.
You'd probably have to have something on the ballot to have the whole village agree to do it if you wanted to collect it, just like with the natural gas.
Did we have to do that with Armstrong Cable?
I'm the only one that does it.
You didn't?
No, Time Warner's around, yeah.
Huh? I don't know. I was not here.
No.
But it's a good idea.
That's pretty interesting. We'll find our committee that's in charge, and we'll contact them all, and we'll bring it out.
There's a lot of people like me,
Everybody would want that.
everybody.
What was the other community besides Liberty?
Youngstown. Youngstown pays, it was in December, it was in the Vindicator on the 5th of December last year, $15.75
Per month.
Per month.
Resident.
per household.
Per house.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's less than half of what...
Well, for 12 months, it comes out almost $32, $31.96 per month, whereas they're paying,
All right.
$14 less, $15 less a month.
Yeah, I know mine just went up.
Give us that, again, will you, the values?
Youngstown pays $15.75. That was as of the December 5th of last year. And Liberty pays $15.43 per month plus $2 for bags. Now, I don't know if that's each bag or if you get a box of bags
Do
or
you know
what.
who the providers are for those two?
Allied Waste is for Liberty. Youngstown, I don't know. I have Waste Management.
Youngstown just changed, I think I remember reading.
I have Waste Management, so.
That's who I have too, I get a big, just got an increase.
Yeah.
It was good. Appreciate it.
And I'd like to thank the street department for the work they've done this year on the snow. Give them a raise.
Any other residents? Okay, any new business? Any old business? Motions, ordinances, and resolutions?
Okay, making the motion to adopt fees for the use of village facilities at $100 per day for non-resident applicants, plus $50 refundable security deposit, $50 per day for Poland Village residents and organization applicants, plus $50 refundable security deposit. Fees to be waived for Poland Village-based nonprofit and non-commercial applicants. Commercial uses will be charged the full fee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's 6-0. Any other motions, ordinances, or resolutions? Second and third readings. Presentation of the bills.
Make a motion that the bills be paid.
Just come around.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
We haven't decided.
Anyone want to second that? Chris was the first.
Secretary,
That's all we said.
Linda second. We'll give you a minute. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, questions from the news media? Remarks by council, Mr. Cassett.
15 days till spring.
Mr. Donovan.
Just want to thank the Finance Committee. They've obviously worked very, very hard on this budget and really under tough conditions and fiscal conditions. So thanks for all the extra money.
Mr. Major.
I talked to Dick Ames's son tonight. Dick's in the hospital. He fell, got 17 stitches in his face. Yeah, and his wife is in, he's up at, he's downtown, and she's at St. E's in Bournemouth. She maybe had a stroke and she fell and broke her leg. Yeah, so they're not doing so good. Yeah.
Mrs. Jasper.
Nothing.
Mr. Limmer.
I just want to thank Linda for all her help as chair of the Finance Committee to get us through this financial situation.
You had such a great budget last year. I feel like I'm the bad charm here. I'm back and we're starting with this deficit budget. So let's hope that the revenue gets better than what we're anticipating.
I'd like to say that I'm against this. Let's fix it. But I like part of it. Nothing against you.
But it was no before you ever said it.
All right, Liz 8:05. Oh yeah, change your clocks this weekend. Spring ahead.
I'll put that in.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:04.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Hey.